Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? I thought I would sign back in. Have a little word in regards to my journey into the realm of the spiritual plane, so to speak. I'm going to do a talk on why I started to take God a little more serious, and in particular, why I sort of question, in a positive manner, in an inquisitive manner, why I question the figure of Jesus Christ when I can. So, finding God is one thing. I don't necessarily mean strictly in a Christian sense, but I come from a relatively, I was never atheist, I always considered it silly to consider oneself an atheist because you must be as adamant as the lack of God's existence in being an atheist as you must be in belief of God as a religious individual. So I thought, I can't, as a younger self, I couldn't tell you whether there was or wasn't, so I always considered myself agnostic, and the idea of being agnostic is something that I never hear come up ever when it comes to the general populace and their response to as to whether they are religious or not. They are either religious or they are atheist. There's no in between. But the idea of somebody boldly stating they're an atheist is quite shocking to me, It is quite shocking. But each to their own. I'm not here to cast judgment because what do I know? But I was a younger agnostic individual prior to my spiritual journey, and I obviously wasn't given any degree of spiritual guidance. So, having not come from a background as to where I was, for lack of better term, force fed this information and this pathway, I actually find it a blessing that I was able to come across the start of my journey by myself. You know, I am not the young child I once was. I haven't had the plasticity of my brain molded in a particular sense that I had been given outside of my own want, a fear of God. I started to look at things myself. Now, why do I take the idea, albeit I'm not a Christian, okay? I haven't subscribed to a particular ideology or scripture, but I'm fascinated in the symbolism in particular behind Christianity, aside general spirituality and Jesus Christ, because I'm not a historian. I'm not someone who has gone through the scripture in the Old and New Testament in fine detail. But what I can tell you is this one thing. Whomever or whatever is in control of the message that I receive doesn't like the idea of Jesus Christ more than anything else. The idea of dividing the people so we fight amongst ourselves as opposed to look upwards. Yes, that's a given, right? It's plain as day, right? Creating duality as opposed to unity is within every space you can think of. two wings on the same bird. But there is a consistent mockery of Jesus Christ, and I question why you must go out of your way to do so, you know? It feels like it comes from a place of disgust, yes, but quite possibly a place of fear. And I wonder what's to be scared of when it comes to this historical figure. It's not something I've worked out at this moment in time, but it's something I question. Why did they make such an outright mockery of Jesus Christ? Do I believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God or God themselves? I haven't come to a conclusion on that at this moment in time. And I hope, whether I'm right or wrong in saying that, I hope I am led to find an answer. But the idea that the powers that be, those whom give me a message yet I can't directly message them, try to project a distasteful image into the world of someone who was upon this planet a long time ago, has me question why. Why? If someone you didn't like came and went thousands and thousands of years ago, a historical figure, why would you go out of your way to such a degree that you have to create a joke of their existence? If it didn't matter to you, if this person was but that which you were putting him out to be, why would you spend your time creating this mockery? So this is in this, I come from a community of punk rock, right? I come from a community in a society of counterculture, and having always been this black sheep archetype of a character, I've always looked at the opposite side of things, and I've always questioned those in authoritarian positions and as to why they make such decisions, and if they make such decisions, what's the intention behind doing so, And so the societally acceptable disrespect of this at the very least godlike figure, this clean figure, this good figure, this good representation of a man, to say the least. Why is it that we point and laugh? And I don't know much. I am but my first couple of steps up this mountain within the realm of learning about this fantastic world. And you see reference that the Lord of this world is the devil. And if the Lord of this world is the devil, and the reality of this, the mockery of Jesus, is promoted by this devilish force, that aligns up with what the biblical scripture states, right? It aligns and it amplifies the message that is. When I was young, it was uncool to be Christian. It was uncool. It was safe and soft and the contrary to what a young boy wanted to be. It seemed lacking of excitement, lacking of thrills and danger, you know? And then the music you listen to finds safety and security in the open disdain towards Christianity. I was into metal music, I still am. But I don't abide or agree to, what I would perceive as the edgy message, the overt anti-Christian message, because I feel, why can't you encompass every religion? Why is it okay and allowed for you to openly attack this particular belief without fear of a response? How has society engineered itself in such a manner where this is not only acceptable but promoted? I can walk in the city centre and I'll walk past a drag bar, yeah, where men dress as women in overt outfits and put the makeup on and so forth. And quite proudly, aside this building, on flyers, you will find these entities dressed as nuns. Why is this promoted? I don't need to go into depth on that. I'm speaking fact. I wouldn't bring it up if I didn't question it, if I don't think about it, if I don't acknowledge it. This is why I'm starting to find a deeper fascination with Jesus Christ and who he is and what he did, and why to this day in 2025 there is a conflict of interest surrounding the promotion of this figure. I'm going to keep this talk vague and ambiguous and general. I want to open discussion and hear from you. On that note, I'm signing out. Peace.